Claire Rogers is the mother of one of the Filton 18, if you must have heard of the Filton 18.
Just to confuse everyone, I've recently decided that I'm Claire Hinchcliffe, but Zoe is still Zoe Rogers, so maybe it's a shame I'm not keeping her name. Thank you very much to everyone here. I'm aware there's lots of people, some I know of and many that I don't, in this room who have spoken up for the Filton 18. I've met Yale for the first time tonight, which is a great pleasure. And others of you have as well. For those who don't know, and sorry, I say that thanks on behalf of me, but also on behalf of the family and friends of the Filton 18. We're a close-knit group, all fighting together. So thank you from all of us, and especially to you, Crispin. For those who don't know about the Filton 18, these are 18 people, all in prison on remand, in connection with one thing: an action against Elbit Systems, Israel's largest weapons manufacturer, in Filton, Bristol. This is back in August last year. 6 of them, including my daughter Zoe, got into their multi-million-pound facility in Filton and damaged, this is meant to be a research and development facility. What they found in there, packaged up, ready for export, were the vile quadcopter drones that we've seen used in Gaza. They got into those and they smashed them with their programs. The response has been absolutely brutal. So my daughter was arrested on site with the other 5. The rest, the other 12, are rounded up by counter-terrorism police, violent raids, up to 30 officers at a time, bursting into family homes, handcuffing children, damaging property, smashing in doors and windows, taking laptops, things that were needed for people's livelihoods. Leaving trauma. One man was arrested with 4 guns pointed at his head. So they have become a test case for the government to see just how much repression they can get away with. Keep your eye on the Filton 18 because they represent something that is happening to everyone in this country. This is about everybody's freedom. They're using the Terrorism Act against them. Even though they're not charged with terror offences, they're saying there is a terrorism connection, and they are using that to justify all kinds of oppression, including the refusal of bail for all 18. My daughter was arrested in August last year. She's been in prison for 8 months. She had her 21st birthday in HMP Bronzefield. By the time she faces trial, it would have been 17 months. 17 months in prison without trial. The legal limit is 6. So let's see. It turns out our government will do pretty much anything to protect Israeli interests and to defend its precious weapons manufacturer. What is that about? So that's just a little recap of who the Filton 18 are. I just want to say what I've learned on a particular issue here. So Zoe has educated me in many, many ways. I've been on a big learning curve. For instance, before her action, I had never heard of Elbit Systems. I didn't know that we had an Israeli weapons manufacturer in this country. It turns out we have many Elbit Systems facilities and other weapons manufacturers. And we, of course, as you all know, we are exporting arms to Israel. And as these things have been explained to me, and I've done a bit of research about Elbit, I've listened to a few talks by Andrew Feinstein, so I've learned a lot from that. And the 2 things that come into my mind are, first of all, the obscenity of the arms industry, especially when it arms a genocide, when it profits from the death of children, marketing its products as battle-tested because they have been used to kill Palestinians. And I picture it as a repulsive beast. You know those beasts in Revelation that come out of the sea? That's what I picture when I think of the arms industry, especially Elbit Systems. The second thing that has really been impressed on me is the courage of Palestine actionists who have taken incredible risks. I hope it goes without saying I am very, very proud of my daughter. I wrote a poem. Is it all right if I read it to you? Okay. Sorry, it looks very long, doesn't it? It's called Who Will Slay the Elbit Beast? Where did it come from, this vile thing? It must have crawled out of the North Atlantic depths while we were all asleep. And now it's here, growing viler and more bloated by the year. And while it's too disgusting to describe, I can tell you there's an orifice beneath its tail that pumps out bombs and drones and piles of stinking cash for anyone who can stand the smell. Its face is too hideous to see. Think of something like a baby's brain hanging from its bombed-out skull. But we don't have to look at it. It's screened off behind the shiny websites, officers and names. Lockheed Martin, Raphael, British Aerospace, and Elbit Systems, pride of Israel. Offering solutions, security, and of course, defense, and other polished forms of deadly excrement. It's groomed and fed by the billionaires it's made and the politicians it controls. It has many, many mouths, and as each one shrieks for more, ministers disembowel their budget and feed it with our money that was intended for the poor. When they meet behind closed doors, world leaders aren't discussing security or peace. They're only middle-ranking sales reps doing deals for the beast. What does this creature want from us? A world of endless war, austerity, and death, ruled by a handful of the super-rich? Do this chosen few not realise that when the ship goes down, the beast will feast on their flesh too? Who will slay this monster? The long arc of the universe bends in unexpected ways, bringing justice, not through politicians, judges, or police, but through our children, armed with not much more than courage and outrageous love, who go into the monster's lairs, poke it with their sticks, pull its tail, and crack its teeth. They get rounded up, arrested, and detained, but more of them return in waves. It doesn't matter that this monster meets weekly with police, or that puppets in their wigs and gowns call them terrorists and send them down. The authorities cannot compete with those who don't fear prison if a child's life is saved. And each time it's poked, the monster roars and rises up, so at last its belly, swollen with the blood of innocence, becomes exposed to public view and ends all talk of self-defense. One day in the future, when its rotted corpse has long been thrown back in the sea, they will say it was our children. They will know it was our children. They will sing about our children who slayed the Elbit beast. You're trying to make me cry. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate that. I want to say one more little tiny thing before I sit down. Separate subject. When this had all happened, and it was in a very raw place, I met a young man in conversation who's in Gaza. Mohammed lives in Gaza with his family. And he walked us right into my heart, really. He asked for help, and we became friends. We were on the phone or messaging several times a week. He's the same age as Zoe, and he feels like a family member. And I've been trying to support him and his family financially in any way that I can. And I followed his troubles. His house was bombed. He moved from Gaza City, he's displaced to tents in the south. When the ceasefire happened, they moved back to Gaza City and they tried to live in the remains of their home. They were displaced again. And the sad thing is, he recently told me, just this week, he's been clinging to the idea of rebuilding his home, basically. All he can think about is when the war is over, we will return to Gaza City. We will rebuild our home from the inside out. Last week, the Israeli army completely levelled what was left of his home. So I've talked about doing a fundraiser, and he says to him, the fundraiser is the only thing giving him hope. You know, he's seen other people do successful fundraisers, and he's just said, I think about it every day. It's my only hope that one day I'll be able to rebuild my home. So I've got this insane target of £100,000 to send to Mohammed in Gaza, so that he has hope to build his family home after the war. So I have a fundraiser. Come and find me after this. Make a very generous donation, and then give me the phone numbers of all your rich friends, and that will be very helpful. Thank you very much. Free Palestine, free the Filton.